I am done there.
Budget, okay, so we'll go to 1.2. Discussion and consideration of resolution number 2020-10, resolution providing for a cooperative agreement between Elko County Fire Protection District for leasing of equipment, property, and facilities for possible action.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The fire district rate was only established 2 years ago. The only equipment that they've bought with fire district funds has been through a federal grant in this fiscal year, which was for SCBA's of around $460,000. So all of the equipment and buildings in the past have been paid for with general tax dollars because it's been part of the general fund. So, and then the infrastructure tax is also outside of the fire district. So that's what this lease is contemplating, is that they're going to have to pay some kind of lease value for the use of this equipment. And the price that's been set is basically adds up to like a 29-year recovery type period for these assets. And, 20 to 30 years is kind of what we're running on fire trucks anyway, if not even longer. So I didn't feel uncomfortable about that. So, and the one cleanup that we're going to have to do is to make sure that all the assets are appropriately titled, because I think we've got a mix of some NDF stuff, some Elko County stuff, some fire district stuff, Elko County Fire District as well as the one before. So that'll have to be cleaned up internally.
So we need then to approve the leasing of the equipment for the property and facilities?
To approve the resolution, yes.
Okay.
I think
Well, what's driving this is the separation of two political subdivisions. And while at the county at one time, I think, was willing to just go as is, we were forced into a position that we had to come up with these cost allocation agreements because they're two separate political subdivisions. And that's exactly what we're doing. It's not a sense of double taxation. We're just saying we're providing these services and we're providing county equipment that you have to pay for. And frankly, a lease payment based on 29 years is a pretty low dollar amount. As new equipment is, all of this cost allocation, this resolution, the next one, plus what you approved at the last meeting, has to be revisited annually. And in the case of what you approved last meeting, we're going to keep some time records and try and get those more accurate. We're ongoing for the next several years purchasing fire equipment. So there may or may not be some changes on that, but it's something that's going to have to be looked at every year. So these will be coming back on an annual basis.
So Rex, does that?
Let's go over one more time, like the infrastructure tax, that money comes in for equipment, but that's Elko County.
That is Elko County.
Right. So when we buy a fire engine, then that's titled to Elko County.
Yes.
And leased to the fire district.
Yes.
Now the 25-cent tax is specific to the fire district.
100% to the fire district.
So if they bought something with that, then it would have the fire district on the title.
Yes.
Isn't that for operational? The 25%?
No, it wasn't intended strictly for operational. I mean, we funded the emergency fund, and that will, if we fund the balance of the $300,000 in this next budget, that leaves that money available for potential capital also.
Okay.
I just wanted to go over that one more time.
So what do we need to do here?
We need to approve the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, may I chime in?
Yes.
So, couple of thoughts. In general, I agree with what John's saying about.
Hey, Delmo, start again, buddy.
Yeah,
You just cut off.
Delmo, wait, we're having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, is that any better?
That's better.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to say that I appreciate John's example, because that really is what it is. The the thing that makes this a little bit complicated is, but it's not that complicated, is it is a standalone political subdivision. It's just kind of like the road department. The road department money is the road department money that comes in from fuel tax. That's a restricted fund, can't be used elsewhere. You know, I think that and it's just like the cost allocation that we did for personnel, whether it's HR or whatever. You can. There's no question that a cost allocation is appropriate. You can always argue the dollar amount. You know, that there might be some further concession there. I mean, like Cash told you, he's got it amortized out for 29 years. That's pretty, you know, that's pretty generous. But you know, I think you could make a concession there. But you know, even if one government wanted to give something to another government, there's a process that you have to do, because that stuff was purchased by that one government. So it might seem a little complicated, but we've got these enterprise funds. It's just like the garbage fund or any of the other enterprise funds. You know, I mean, we can choose to subsidize them, but we have to do a process by that. But this is really just the same thing as that another enterprise fund.
Okay, so go ahead.
Can I ask one question to put Rand on the spot again? He mentioned, that last comment mentioned the possible illegality of this resolution. Can you assure us that we're doing nothing illegal?
With a resolution? As far as I know, I was just looking at this, and we are in compliance with 277, which contemplates interlocal agreements. I'm pulling it up on my phone.
Right.
So any time we're dealing with real property, we have to have that resolution. This does include real property. So we have to have that resolution, and that's the main part of that. As long as we are in compliance with the resolution, we comply with that part of the law. There's other aspects of the law here that there's some questions. The vesting and the property in the fire district, there's a statute that vests it. That statute is ambiguous at best. And the way that I've come to it basically, where do those tax funds come from? That makes the most sense to me. But I haven't done a legislative intent search on it. And what that means is I haven't gone through the legislation to make sure that that was the intent of the legislators when they passed that statute. It's difficult to imagine that property bought by one political subdivision of the state would suddenly invest in another one, though. But again, I have not researched that far back.
But you were involved in the process of developing this arrangement, I assume?
I was not involved that much in this.
So would you recommend we put off a decision on this, or?
I'm sorry?
Would you recommend we put off a decision on this?
It really is going to come down to a stance of whether you feel that the property was actually vested in the fire district, or whether it was vested, or it continues to be with the Elko County. And that's really what the issue is here, I think.
Well, I think there's no question that it was bought
with general funds, or with funds that are in the control of Elko County.
Yeah.
So, and I think we have had that discussion, and I think this board has kind of already come down on that line, that is our stance. And I mean, I can't give advice to the fire district at this point, or during these, I should say, on these issues, just because of the conflict that it would be. And so it gets a little awkward for me, to tell you the truth.
Okay,
Thank you,
let's
Brian.
move on here. So do we need a resolution to support the?
I'll make a motion to To accept the resolution of the cooperative agreement for leasing with the Elko County Fire Protection District as presented.
Does everybody understand the motion? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions on it? Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. 1.3.
Aye.
Somebody want to, oh, here we go.
Hold on, sorry. I was reading through the statute on the real property, and the one concern I did have is that it does need to have, I think, a description of the property, and I don't know if this resolution has that. It doesn't have a description of property. I think that the resolution would have to have a description of the property in order to be.
I didn't see that in the statute.
Let me just,
How do we unapprove?
and we could probably add it.
It's pretty basic. We know what the we have the description, right? So there's not any question about what property we're talking about.
Yeah, it does say, describe the property proposed to be sold or exchanged or leased in such a manner as to identify it. So that is supposed to be in the resolution.
Can we get a motion to approve on the condition that the,
How about a motion to amend the resolution to include the description of the property?
okay, on the previous, you mean, and on this, right?
I don't think you need it on the second one, do you?
No, right, yeah, okay, all right. Motion to amend.
Motion to amend resolution number 2020-10
-10.
to include a description of the property.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, any discussion, any questions, all in favor say aye, and I say aye.
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 Okay,